to Portman Road. This sound indicates an important announcement.
Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome back to your Thursday night preview show, where we look ahead to the weekend's action of Ipswich Town Football Club. And group therapy can begin, my friends, as Callie called it in the chat. Thank you ever so much. We are all friends, and we are all Town fans suffering together. But good times are coming, better times on the horizon, as always. Thank you ever so much for joining me. You can share this video far and wide. It would really help the show to grow. So if you're watching on YouTube, share it to your friends. Hit the like button. Subscribe, of course. On Facebook, share it. And on Twitch, you can follow this channel. We've got a really sort of jam-packed show. We've got Paul Cook's post-match comments. Honesty, accountability. Is there direction for you? There's two camps at the moment with the Town fans. There's you can't judge Paul Cook, or you must judge Paul Cook. I'm not saying either one of you is wrong, but by far from it. That's not my place to say. I just host these things. That's your point. That's your position to take up. We've got the Troy Parrott transfer rumour. We've got Jimmy Walker. Another one bites the dust. That could be the theme tune as we head into the summer. Dude. Another one bites the dust. There you go. That's karaoke night done and dusted. Not going to do that on the channel, I don't think, ever again. Mark Ashton, new CEO. I want your thoughts on that. And then we've got a couple of things, and we've got Charlton as well, of course. Looking at the chat, I want to get the chat really busy tonight, as always. We do have a live link, so you are more than welcome to come on this show. It is always your platform to have your say. Neil Perks, brilliant interview by Cook. Brutal, but very much needed. Stephen Parry can't see how he can be judged. Well, we are playing competitive games, Stephen. I will just throw that in. Harry Butcher. Apparently, Judge and Parrott have gone. Well, that's a fun transfer room for us to discuss, then, isn't it, boys? In the VIP room. Oh, brilliant! Fucking hell, who fucking wrote this script? Lee Anderson. Better put that on repeat, Martin. Not Colin. Yeah, nice tune. It is a really nice tune. Get your comments in the comment section. Join me tonight. First of all, is our resident. He is our champion. He is, for those of a certain age. If I say blankety blank, blankety blank. Blankety blank, blankety. You'll know what I'm talking about. But he didn't win no checkbook and pen. It's, of course, Sid Driver. Sid, welcome in, my man. How you doing?
Good evening. How are we?
I'm very well, thank you. I won't embarrass you any further by asking you the fabled question now. But I saw you were playing a game on Facebook which looked more confusing than Blankety Blank earlier. And I didn't know, how did you... I don't understand the game you were playing on Facebook earlier. Can you try and explain it to me? To the guys and girls at home.
What game was that?
He doesn't even know what game he was playing either. It was the one with Milk Train Man, where it was the whatever.
Oh, it was like a band in like reverse order, and the only one I could think of was the Foo Fighters.
It was a good one.
Yeah.
Luke Hume, what's Blankety Blank? Sunday. Blankety Blank, 6:30 Sunday evening. Lily Savage is the host. That was just the best thing in the world, followed by a heartbeat, and then you just knew. Fuck off, you little cheeky sod. During the war. Talking of during the war, we do have a third member of this team this evening.
No. Pretty Caroline, stone cold stunner. She was a winner, started working at the dime. Serves this of her mind to count your blessings, 'cause it's telling fair. Put you down and leave you dead, don't make them scared. Yeah, it's the ugly truth. How they coming for you.
I don't know what to say on that, really, other than...
You never know what to say. And Matt Phillips, Blankety Blank was on ITV. I promise you. I absolutely can't.
I remember when it was Terry Wogan.
Yes, as does Ryan Cartwright. Sorry, Josh Warren. Blankety blank was yeah, but when I was a kid, it was Lily Savage followed by Heartbeat. You'd have a bath. You know, you just knew school was coming, and it was just one of those moments. Anyhow, how are we, Mike?
Yeah, good. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm not too bad.
How you
Thank
doing,
you.
boys? All right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
not
doing
bad,
good. We're
mate, not
doing
bad.
good. We sort of brought. I hesitate to say we brought the show to a close early after the game Tuesday, but Paul Cook's press conference did obviously get the cat amongst the pigeons in the chat, which we're going to come on to very soon. We've got Lee Anderson saying Les Dawson first, Adam Flatt saying originally BBC. Yeah, it was back on BBC at the Christmas time. Anyway, enough of blankety blank. You two boys, actually, funnily enough, are supporters of this platform. So I must thank you both ever so much for doing so. It really does mean a lot. You keep the lights on and everything. How do you find your memberships, boys?
Well worth it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, good lads. I'll drop the link in the chat. That was a well-rehearsed advert. There we go. Bish, bash, bosh. We knocked that out of the park. Right. Fuck me. That was like watching Andre Dessel in midfield. We were floundering. Right. You had a bath once a week. Yeah, it was the 90s. It was the 90s, Nick. Once a month, mate. Once a month. Mike can still remember the bath outside.
I used to share a bath with my sister and my brother when I was younger. I mean, how bad is that?
In all those like big old metal cans.
Weren't
in
that
the
bad?
garden.
Weren't that bad?
Right. Paul Cook's press conference after the game. Who wants to kick us off with this? Sid, did you hear the press conference after the game?
I've heard both, the one on Suffolk and the one they put on the club website.
Give us your thoughts on both of them. Then, you know, having watched that game, seen your team be absolutely embarrassed by AFC Wimbledon, and then hearing that. Where are you now with that?
He seems to be saying what we've thought for how many years now. We've just had enough. It can't go on like this anymore, and I think there is going to be big changes ahead.
Yeah.
I can't see many of them players being here.
No, I really can't. But are you still admiring the honesty from Paul Cook in the post match? Because you and do you want to hear that? I mean, after Lambert, it's a complete breath of fresh air, really, isn't it?
How many times have we watched the absolute shit performance and he's come out and gone, "Oh, I'm really proud of the lads. They played really well. Credit to them." And you just think, what game have you been watching?
That's true. But my theory is, if we played as well as we can do press conferences, we'd be romping the league, because I really enjoy listening to Paul Cook. He's a great guy. He's an honest guy. But is there a time when the honesty needs to stop and you need to say, well, if you can see the problems, fix the problems?
I mean, this is years of accumulation of absolutely bad ownership, and let's be brutal. You know, we can blame. Look, I didn't want Lambert here, and some fans thought he did a good job and all that. Look, I haven't been particularly great. I've sort of found Paul Cook really inspiring when it comes to the team choices. He has pretty much got what he's been dealt with, hasn't he? You know, it's not his team, not his players. You know, I was starting to get a little bit frustrated with him at the weekend, and then he came out and said what pretty much everybody's been thinking, you know, and that to me, he kind of turned me round. He turned me round and thinking, well, you know what? All we've had is the last two and a half years under Lambert is like Sid said, you know, the boys played really well. Really? They haven't played well for a long time, and you know, for Paul Cook to come out and say what he did, you know, the players don't know what, you know, just the way he slated them was. I know he didn't name names, but you could see that he was, you know, the best thing about Paul Cook is his voice after the game. You know, it goes, it's brilliant, it's hilarious. But on a serious note, I thought what he said at the weekend after the game was bang on. And I think that, no disrespect, but yeah, there's far too many players at this club now that really need to be gone. You know, that's from the goalies to defenders to midfielders to our strikers. You know, and maybe some of the younger players that have said that, you know, we've all said, look, maybe they'll step up, but they haven't. You know, so
Yeah. No, you're right. So I'm just get some comments. Hey, Butcher, the fix is coming in the summer, Martin. In my opinion, Mark Dowling, they aren't his players. I doubt he'd be naming and shaming. I don't. No. I don't trust my team is not a phrase I don't think I've ever heard a manager mention in a press conference. I don't trust this team.
Not in those exact words either.
No, because that's normally just a sign of as a manager of having your ghoulies chopped off. Do you know what I mean? Like if you come out and say it, the chairman normally goes, "Well, you don't trust them and you picked them and you got them." Yeah, adios amigo. But it shows he's got some security in the position. It's just not the first time. Not from him from the squad. Michael Finch, honest down to earth, says it as it is. Does this man ever get tired of a podcast appearance? Stephen Perry, welcome in, my man. How did you rate Paul Cook's press conference?
Well, like I said, me and Fisherman on Saturday was like different sides of the fence until his press conference come out. I think he fell down more on the other side than I did. I think it's very harsh to judge him. I like the comments. I think it's what it was needed. At the end of the day, we know that he's going to press the nuclear button. No. I don't think it's just out of contract players. I think he's going to be looking at contract players as well and thinking, look, what can you offer us moving forward? If you're not going to offer us anything, the likes of Hawkins, the likes of Judge, people, if he doesn't think they're going to offer them anything, I think they'll look to try and move them on, whether it's a free or just try and settle the contract somewhere, just to get rid of some players that just aren't going to do anything. And I think that's the way about it. And he needs to do that, but it was really impressive the way, because he's got to have trust. Every manager has to trust his players because he asks them to do something and he asks them to go on the field and do it. If he can't trust them to do that, he's got nothing. Yeah. And it's so important, that trust relationship, because he says, I want you to do X, Y, and Z. Yeah. If they go out and do A, B, and C, he can't do nothing. There's absolutely nothing he can do. So we're having a go at someone who's virtually impotent. And I feel sorry for him in so many ways.
Yeah, absolutely. When you say press the nuclear button, what do you mean by that? Press the nuclear button.
Most of the contracts will go.
I think all of them will go.
I think there might be the odd. I think Total will get an extension. I'd like to see Total get it. I think he's earned it for this season a lot. It might just be the 1 year extension because I think he's got that, And there's like the in-contract players like Hawkins and people like that. Decision will be made on them. Are we going to keep them around? What's the point? They don't offer nothing moving forward. It might even go down to looking at Norwood and saying, well, what are you going to offer us next season? For the last 2 years, you've offered us a broken foot up every year. What are you going to offer us? You can't stay fit. You're not point B in here. Yeah. And I think all this will, and I think with Mark Ashton coming in, he's not going to suffer fouls. And I think, to be honest, I think that's going to be the best signing you've ever made. Everyone's criticising him, saying Bristol City fans don't like him. But I tell you what, if they've had to suffer like Ian Milne and Leo Neal, that is one serious bloody upgrade. I can tell you that. Yeah. And if we can attract a CEO from the Championship, who's to say we can't attract players from the Championship to step up?
Look where he's put Bristol City as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
They weren't any, no disrespect to them, they weren't any good when we was in the Championship for all them years, and now they're sort of up there.
I saw a stat the other day, and it was Bristol City's commercial revenues. The average in the Championship is 59%. Bristol City's in there was 612%.
Yeah.
So he brings a hell of a lot more to the table.
Oh, he does. Well, that's not. As you've said, he hasn't got a lot to stack up against. I just want to let you, before I let you go. Adam Flat says the nuclear option is Alex Gilead. Stephen,
I think we're well beyond Alex Gilead. You
were saying the other day, don't judge a book by its stats. Don't you go turn your back on Gilead now, Steve.
If I were Paul Cook, I'd be on.
About Ollie Hawkins.
I'll say this now: if I was Paul Cook, I'd be on the phone to an out of contract Nick Powell. He used to play for him under Wigan. I reckon he's got some pull with him. So why hasn't he given him a bell? He's out of contract at Stoke. He had 12 goals last season for Stoke. So
yeah, well, there you go. Watch this space. Stephen, love you as always. Callie, you have been big on manager accountability. Did you see that post-game? Did you see the accountability you've been craving?
I saw him talk about accountability. He said certainly didn't take any himself. If we're going to be real, he said it's the players aren't good enough. You know, I don't trust my players. Oh, calm down, Mike. I can see you want to
Mike's
jump in.
reaction.
He wants to throttle me. Hold on. Let me clear it up again. I feel like I have to put this disclaimer out every time I come on about Paul Cook. I still support Paul Cook. I've not got the pitchforks out for him yet, right? But
I love you, Kelly.
I'm just saying, right? Let's look at it from this point of view. He's the manager. You got a team out. We're saying the players are shit and shit and shit. The league is shit and shit and shit. We did enough before, whether you want to call it fluke wins or whatever, at the beginning of the season, patches in the season, just before he come, where we were never mind winning, but we were scoring and taking shots, right? So I get he wants to put his kind of DNA and his imprint on it and everything. That's fine. That's what pre-seasons are for. Don't use this as a pre-season now when we're all paying tenors to watch the game, right? Because at the end of the day, if you're using this as an experiment, the only reason that we're paying to watch these games then is so we can have these kind of conversations on these platforms. We're not there actually engaging for the club thinking, and then are we actually supporting our club at that time anyway? So I'm all for Cook, and I think he'll get something good going in the summer. And I think, you know, finally, and I'm resigned to the fact we are in League One now next season, right? But yeah, I'm resigned to it now. Listen, I was hurt after Tuesday, man. I was fucking.
So was I.
I was vexed. Like everyone just got it in the neck after. But yeah, it's one of those where I don't see us going up this season now. Not even making top 6. I can't see it. But we'll beat Charlton. That'll be sod's law. We'll beat Charlton like 3-0. I say 3-0 each week though. It's just
you say you were hurt, but Paul Cook after the game, Mike, said that he didn't think these players hurt. They didn't feel, and he wanted them to hurt. Do you agree with that? Do you think this bunch of players, because there's a famous picture doing the rounds of Richie Wellens about 7 years ago saying town players don't care. Do you still think that is a symptom of our dressing room, Mike?
I think it's a symptom of a whole club. I think there's been, like I said, you know, we've questioned the fitness coaches, we've questioned the physios, we've questioned the coaching. I mean, and we've just got rid of our goalkeeper coach. You know what I mean? So I was with Callie until Paul Cook came out and said what he said. I was with him. You know, I was starting to think, hang on a minute, look, you know, you're the manager, you should be getting more out of these players, but. No, rightly so, mine. At the beginning of the season, you know, we were all saying, you know, look, I think a better manager would get more out of these players. But the brutal reality is, I think the players, either the players don't want to be here or they're just picking up a paycheck each week because, quite frankly, they're not playing. As I said earlier on.
How do you explain the wins before in the beginning of the season? How do you explain the wins? I'm just asking. It's the same group of players. That's all I'm asking.
I understand that, but the problem is that you know, we had Norwood fit, didn't we, at the start of the season?
No, not really.
Well, yeah. And then obviously we had Edwards on a purple patch.
True.
In all fairness,
that explains up to October. And then
but the season before was exactly the same, wasn't it? We done really well, and then we tailed off. It basically. We went out like a bull in a china shop, and and the players just got found out. We just got found out as a team, you know. Lambert never really changed things too much, did he? He kept consistent with the 4-3-3, and it just weren't working in this league. Everybody, any club that's gone out of this league has either played 4-4-2 or they've played, you know, they've always had 2 strikers in this league.
I don't think he loves 4-4-2.
He loves the 4-4-2, though, doesn't he? He's always got to work it in the conversation.
Who's that,
yeah.
No.
He's talking about postage stamps.
Look, you know my formation. I love 3-5-2. That's my formation, and I love it. And I think if you have right players, round pegs and round.
At the moment, aren't we 3-5-2?
Do you like
the weekend that was more of a flat. That was more of a 4-4-2, wasn't it? Or 4-5-1.
I don't think the formation is the problem. It comes back to what we said so and so again. It's the creativity. Cook identified it in his first press conference. Said, you know, we don't create chances, we don't score goals, and that's evident. I think we're now down to like the 5th or 6th best defense in the leagues.
So what's your problem with Cook, Callie? What's the overall problem for you with Paul Cook?
I just think it's not. I can't even say it's a problem because I love the guy. Do you know what I mean? Like I can't even have a problem. Nah, because when
This is you loving someone? Fucking hell.
Hell.
Don't get the wrong side of you then.
I'm just saying, yeah. It's like I love him because he's coming from Lambert, so you know it's the contrast of the two managers. I love that he's being a bit open and giving us a bit more respect, right? But the thing I don't like, or I can say that I'm not so happy with, is he's only taking a certain amount of accountability, saying, yeah, I'm the managers, but it's down to the players. But this is League One. The league is shit. Okay, if our players are shit, we're good enough, and I stand by it. We should have been good enough to be in the top 6 before. Now the mentality is just gone for the squad. They're hanging their heads. They don't know what they're
losers
or whatever.
We're that team that
take
gets
some
in there and
accountability, though, Kelly, this week. On the interview, listen to the whole interview on iFollow and the one on Radio Suffolk. He did take some accountability. He says, it does fall on my shoulders. I am the manager. I have to take responsibility.
Yeah, so then what
these players don't care. What they've seen, they're not hurting. They're not feeling the hurt that us fans are. I said on Twitter on my little preview thing for this, they don't play for the shirt. They don't play for the fans. They've got no self-respect as players themselves. There's probably 5 players I'd keep out of the whole lot, and the rest can just go and do one.
But then this is the whole thing: 5 players, and we're going to bin 25. That ain't happening. Like people think we're going to get 15 signings through the door, and somehow I can't see that happening. I really highly doubt it. Was Hurst?
No, not Hurst.
Who?
Do you need just
done it before, hasn't he? Done it at Wigan. He got rid of. I think he got rid of 18 players at Wigan.
Got rid of
18 players, brought his own players in, and then look what they were doing. They were winning, and obviously he left because of ownership issues. But what's wrong with that? Get rid of these players. Get rid of the likes of Chambers. Get rid of the likes of Holy and Cornell as keepers. Both absolute shocking keepers.
This is the thing I'm saying. We're focusing on. Sorry.
Can I just interject? Because you say about players leaving. I just want to say what players we have under contract, from which you've got a base to work from. You've got 2 goalkeepers. You've then got 4 defenders, which are Vincent Young, Wolfenden, Ndaba, and Kenlock. Your midfielders under contract still are Dazelle, Downs, Nolan, McGavin, Dobra, Lancaster, and your 2 strikers are Hawkins and Norwood. So do you need 15 players from that? If that's your nucleus to start from, do you need 15? Or would 7, 8 be enough?
No, you'd need 10 to cover that lot. There isn't no strength and depth there at all.
There'll be some players, like you said, from the current crop that are out of contract in the summer that you'll probably keep, right? Mm-hmm. If for anything, as a backup option somewhere else, right? I've been a backup option later on down the season. Even I've been, flying the flag for Toto or whatever. I would, friendships aside or whatever, I would still keep him in our squad. I think he's good enough at this level. I think he's good enough at this level, right?
He texts me.
But I think he's good enough at this level to have a backup here. I know we're all split on Chambers and everything, but taking him out, fine. If you want to get rid of him, but you have to bring in a captain. I'm all for backing Downs and everything, but to make him club captain, I think would be a mistake. I think vice captain, yes. Yeah, vice captain, give him a year as a vice captain to build himself and then become a captain. And don't forget, there's still the Flynn Downs that had his head very easily turned by Crystal Palace. What's to say that come summer, he may not even be here. He may be in the Premier League.
He'll be here. It'll be stupid to leave under this current regime.
Premier League.
Oh, you really will. Right, hang on. I've got someone coming in just a second. Sega Zombie. No leadership within the team. Winning mentality has long gone the bar for too long, has been set way too low. I believe the structure and ideology and identity of the squad has been wrong since Hurst. David Hughes, we need a new goalkeeper, centre half, left back, left midfield, right midfield, attacking midfield, 2 centre forwards, a broom, a sweep, a dustpan, a brush, everything else on David.
The Cully toy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Get 20p out for the old grabber machines down Fixture arcades. Colin Plum, keepers are as good as the goalkeeping coach, and he's gone. I tell you what, Callie, Mike, Sid, I'm going to bring somebody in now who might disagree, especially with Callie and Mike, because he says it's Ben. This was the best result of the season. Adams, I didn't recognise you, Ben, for a second. Could you have some trim?
Oh, sorry, just got it better. Just there we go.
Oh, look at that!
It
Very good
arrived
stuff.
and it's warm and it's comfy and it is. Even my wife said I look handsome tonight, so that's a great result.
Sexy.
So
That
happy
is-
days.
Absolutely. I've fallen for you. There's no two ways about it.
That's very kind. It's not very. It's not often enough people say that to me, so I'm really heartened. So
Where's
that's
yours,
really
Kelly?
good.
Where's yours, Kelly?
I
Where's
told
yours?
you, get a hat ready, and I'm buying it. No,
I don't have a hat head. I have a long head. It's like a horse. It's really
50p.
long. I don't suit hats.
Let's get some hats. We need some Talking Town hats. And then we'll-
You're right. You're right. We do. We do.
The point
Ben.
I'm making, just as you were taking off, yeah, absolutely. Saturday, I stand by it, man. Saturday was the best result of the season. Because you imagine, let's look at it in an alternative universe, which somewhere out there this is happening in the ether. Is that the absolute?
Sorry, can I just interrupt you? I love
Yeah.
your vocabulary, man. You got the best.
Yeah, so I
vocabulary.
know. I read too much poetry as a young. Yeah, I know. Somewhere out there in sort of quantum space through a black hole is a universe where the absolute shite pod of players that we have rallied in the last 15 games and they actually play better than what they are. Now, the trouble is, you imagine this group of players actually rallied and putting in semi-decent performers. You've got to renew their contracts. That means we get to sit in front of them for another year when they will eventually go back to what they are now, which I think is their kind of the base level of playing. So the fact that they've absolutely, had a nuclear apocalypse of a season, for me, is the best result ever. The best signings, the players that are gonna go. I thank God for these performances because that means none of us are ever going to have to watch them again. So great season. I just hope though that in order to kind of temper that, I hope that these players' parting shot is not, as I said on Saturday, is not going to be to cost Paul Cook his job, or at least put the idea in the manager's head that this is not a manager who can get the best out of everybody. He's already failed. He starts off on a fail, this Paul Cook. He's already started off on a fail. That group of chips you have as you come into a manager, and these chips are, it's not my squad. I've got to find out about them. It's usually after a terrible run of form. So anything better than that is better. These are all chips that you can cash in. They're gone now. All the chips are gone. And if they're all his players and he gets the money, the pressure on that man next year to succeed, he will be gone by Christmas if we're not in the top 4 or 5. Mark my words. And I'll say it again, the Americans, they're fucking ruthless, man. I lived in Americans at that level, operating at that level, are ruthless. And they ain't going to be doing what Evans, I would say, done the first 2/3 of his reign, which is wait and wait and wait. If they don't like it, they'll bin him. And I don't want these players to be the reason for it.
But I agree with that. I agree with that. If we're not in the top 2 by Christmas and comfortably in the top 2, you ain't the man. I'm sorry, but Paul Cook, I rate you as a manager. I'm backing you and everything, but you've won this league. No, I'm realist, mate. I like Paul Cook, but I love Ipswich, mate. Listen, that's what it is, right? So Paul Cook, he's won this league before a couple of times. He's a winner. He knows how to win leagues. So I was already confident on him as a manager. Now you've got the American investment in there. How can we expect anything but first or second?
There's no expectation, there's demand, and there's a huge difference between those things. We expect it. You could argue we demand it, but we're fans. We expect it. We want them to do well. I think in the eyes of the owners, he has to do well. There is no alternative. And the timeline for failure or to not get it quite right, I think has lessened in these past, 12 games. Whereas 100%. I think he would have had a whole season and then they might have reviewed it at the end of next season. I think he's now got till Christmas, and that is because of the players that are playing at this club now. And that's why I'm really disappointed. Sorry?
Do you honestly think that? No, I was originally thinking 10, 15 games.
What, into next season?
Yeah.
Christmas maybe.
Yeah,
I mean, it all depends on
you can't go into next season applying that type of pressure. I mean, Paul Cook's come in halfway. Look, that change should have happened before Christmas. Okay, Hammer should have gone maybe at the beginning of the season or before Christmas. And then Paul Cook, he needs at least 2 transfer windows to sort this mess out. You can't always get a jigsaw puzzle with all the pieces, and put all the pieces in it to make them fit in one, especially in football, in one transfer window. You need 2 minimum. So he's going to get the summer, and then he's going to get Christmas. And if after Christmas by the time, say, by the end of January, end of February, or say the end of February, if you're right, if we're not in the top 2, then yeah, there's a good chance he could get the sack and someone else could come in. But the reality is, he's got to have 2 windows. You can't. I'm not happy with our performances, but I don't put that sole. I put 90% part of the blame, 90% of the blame on the players. But 10% maybe,
Can I ask
player choice and position. I mean, Wolford and right back, that was a bit of a strange one. But again, he doesn't know these players. He's got to find out about them. And what he has found out, like Ben said, and rightly said, maybe this utter shit performance was probably the best thing that could have happened.
It doesn't feel like it because we're hurting and because we're still paying our money and our time to watch it. I promise you, 20 games into next season, you will look back at these performances now and you will thank the football gods that they happened, because this at least guarantees that there will be the clean sweep rather than keep 3 or 4 of them who have just upped their game a bit and then they get to be shit all over again. I find it very interesting that Chambers has gone very quiet. Very, very quiet.
He should do. He doesn't say a lot on the football pitch anyway. He needs to go. I've had enough of him.
Is it something funny?
Honestly, I've had enough. Call that a captain. I mean,
captain of a team of players the manager doesn't trust.
I've got there's cardboard cutouts in the stand making more noise than him.
Yeah.
But listen, Chambers had gone quieter before Cook come in, right? He wasn't doing a lot of press conferences. He probably did one. I think he's done one conference since turn of the year, maybe, right? One might be wrong. But yeah, it's one of those. In terms of like Cook and judging him, this shit aside, so these 10 games, these 10 points from 10 games, this aside, regardless if he come in the summer or on the 31st of May or whatever, right, and he was building that, I would still say he gets till Christmas, because you've got the investment, you've got the manager, this is a shit league, we've been here now, we know the league a bit better, we should be first or second, and nothing else is acceptable, right? Anything below that is unacceptable. And that's where I'm saying, I get what you're saying, Mike, about building this team, but we ain't building a Champions League team. We're not building a Championship team. We're building something that's got to go up in League One.
Which is exactly what David Eaton says here. David Eaton, you don't need a great team to get out of this league. A little skill and a bag full of effort will do the job.
Exactly.
Which brings
that's what we lack, is the effort.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, no, we do. But so Troy Parrott, transfer him this week. I don't know. Yeah, would you have him back, Sid? Because he is all about effort. But do you think that's really the player we should be looking at, or what's your opinion on Troy Parrott coming back? Possibly.
Like you said there, he is all about effort. I think personally, all right, he might not have got the goals that we need, but he has improved since he first come in. We was all slated him when he came in the door.
Yeah.
But I do think there is a player in there.
Keep or not? Would you extend that loan deal given the opportunity, Mike?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No.
Callie?
Frankly, he's got effort. No, I can't fault his effort. But we like I said, we just need a complete clean slate. We really do. Like I said, like Scoos, Chambers, Dazelle, Ward. These players need to go. Holy needs to go. I'm fed up. I'm fed up.
Who would you keep, Mike?
Would I keep? What?
Who would you keep?
Who would I keep?
I gave you the contracts, I gave you the bank balance, I gave you the credit card, and I said, Mike Brown, you sort this pile of steam and shit out. Who would you keep?
Right. Who would I keep? Well, I wouldn't keep any of the goalies, that's for certain. I'd keep Enciala.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'd keep Donatian.
KVY?
Absolutely, I would. Yeah, I think he'd make a good player.
Great. Too injured.
Wolfenden, yeah, I'd probably keep Wolfenden. He's not had the greatest of seasons, but let's be honest, look what he's playing in. Downs, I'd keep.
Wilson.
Penlock, I'd keep. I think he's done quite well in this league. Midfield.
Wow.
I'd have midfield. There's no one else in the midfield I'd want to keep.
Not even the Ginger Pirlo, Mr. John Nolan.
Fuck off.
There's a reason he's not great.
Do you know what? Yeah, I'd keep him as a sub. Have him on as a sub.
Listen,
possibly keep Nolan.
If I'm spinning around, move out of my way.
I could just
Man,
see you in a
they've
pink
got
tutu
no-
doing that. You know that, don't you? I'd keep Norwood. I'll keep Norwood for another season. And we do desperately need to bring in
For
him
entertainment.
some more players. I really do.
Well, we do in your world, yeah.
You know, but then obviously you've got players coming through, and
Who?
like Lancaster, who's got potential.
Lancaster's been coming through for about 2 years now.
Gibbs. Sorry?
Lancaster's been coming through for about 2 years, though.
He's had potential since 2008.
No,
Never
hold on,
see it.
Yeah, he's playing in absolute. Look,
listen.
One at a time.
Watkins is playing in a bad team.
One at a time.
Look, no disrespect, right? But you say that about Lancaster, right? But look at Dazelle, yeah? This is a player that was touted as a possible Premiership player, right? He's playing in a league, right? Two leagues below that, and you tell me, has he stood out this season? Has he stood out of all the teams that we've got in this league? Has he stood out as one of the standout players? The answer is no.
I hope they both find teams that suit them in the new year.
Yeah, 100%. But I don't notice that Dazelle's even on the pitch sometimes.
No.
I
think you'll see the best.
It is our team, Sid. It is our team.
Hold on.
He'll have that one moment that everyone will cling on to for the next 7 weeks.
No. Okay, so Andre's game is most of his game is involving other people. He's on reliant on other people, right? If no one's running around, if no one's making a fucking movement, right? Well, no, exactly. Right, so that's why we all signal out. And listen, let's look at him anyway. This is the most. I think there's a stat out there somewhere, Statman or someone's put it out there saying, in the last 5 years he's played as many appearances as he had this season. He's had a horrific injury where he's been out. He's coming back. I think you give him next season to prove himself in a Paul Cook team. I think there's a player there, right?
But Callie, look, he's had this season. Had this season to stand out, mate. He's had this season to prove himself.
He's basically been like his debut season almost, right? And he's played in the
what a shocking debut season it's been then, because
he never played as a 6 in the 23s. He played as an 8 or a 10, right? And in fact, when he played the West Ham friendly, which we all raved about how great they were, he was playing as a friendly midfielder. No, but I'm saying he's been more this attacking player. He's come in under Lambert. Been told to sit as a 6 because he's got a range of passing or whatever. No fuckers moving about. Everyone's holding their dick just looking at the ball, right? And then it's like, oh, what the hell's Andre doing? I ain't having it. Like for Andre, nah, he's staying in the team.
Andre is.
You know what? Honestly, well, look, I get what you're saying. Callie. I understand. I understand the game. I understand what your thought process, and. I respect your opinion.
You see now,
this is a player. He
just told you to go fuck yourself.
Very diplomatically.
He just told you to go fuck.
Well, no.
Callie, what do you think of this? Here's maybe something between the two. Andre is that dazzling, shiny sports car on your drive that you can just never get to fucking work right. That's what he is. Great to look at.
All right.
Yeah, you have that dazzling sports car in the garage when you're ready to pull it out and drop it. You know what I mean? When you go with it.
Let's park Andre Dazelle, wherever car he may be, for a second, because there's a whole match day ticket coming up. And that'd be a whole half hour. We can discuss it then. Yeah, Ben, who would you be keeping? Because I personally. If they're under contract and if they're a goalkeeper, I'd be keeping them just because for continuity's sake, you don't want to.
I understand, and that makes
replace
sense.
Too much too soon. What would you do?
I will give an ancillary to my answer. The best signing we can make is a good physio, because that will change the dynamic of the players you need to get in. And let's talk about the players that you want to keep. We're naming, Kane Vincent-Young. We're naming Norwood, Downs. All players we want to keep. They can't stay fit. If you can get them to stay fit, that changes the dynamic of the players we would actually need to get in. Because at the moment, I'm thinking we need to replace all 3 of them, because they're the 3 I would build a team around. You need to replace all of them because they can't play more than a third of the games in the season. If you keep those players fit, it actually gives you space to go and get players to play around them. It's very hard to build a team out from someone if they can't play. So for me, whatever signings we make, and I think there'll be some good ones, there'll be some bad ones, like any team, top or bottom, but a good physio and a renewed approach to the physio team is really where I'd like to see that start. Aside from that, I would say KVY, Downs, Norwoods. There's one from each. I like Kenlock. Cook doesn't rate him. Interesting. We do.
And Ben, Callie, just because I've got to move it on and the time's pressing. Troy Parrott, yes or no for both of you? Ben first.
Yes, because I'm comparing him to what he's working around and he's no better or he's no worse. And he's better than some. So yes.
Appreciate you. Love the merch. Thank you so much for supporting us as always, Ben. Love you, man. Callie, letting us down as always, but never mind. Troy Parrott, yes. Troy Parrott, yes. If I get you a hat, you know what? Come on, just wearing a hat, just a hat.
Not yet, no. You
exactly. To buy a missing T-shirt, man. Right. Troy Parrott, yes or no?
Yeah, similar to what Ben said there. He's been playing. The creativity's been shit anyway. I like his effort. I think he's new in his senior career. Now he's got his first goal or whatever. I think you'll see development as a young player. I'm not going to keep him as our go-to. He'd probably be on the bench or in the squad or whatever. And then hopefully, and he's got the pace and he's got the effort. If Cook can get the best out of him and we get a good assistant manager, a good couple of coaches there, the good sports science there, then you'll get the best out of the player. And Mike Brown will get
perfect. Thank you, Callie. Love you, man. Look after yourself. A few comments in the chat. We've got Dan Whitty. Need some young players that are looking to shine and want to shine. Dave Eaton, good point, Dan. He's got a charity stream coming up, I believe. I will post some details on Twitter and I'll get Crunch to do so as well. So keep your eyes out for that. Any chance we can support charity, we will. Adam Flat, Dr. Leg, Stiggy Aston, them players are crap. Powergen, Dezella's living off his surname, not his skills. Neil Perks, need a good spine, possibly a new centre-back, centre-half, Downs, and a fit Nord if that's possible. Get my words out this evening. I do apologise. I haven't been drinking. Daryl Jones. The problem with the physio line is that is a major complaint from Bristol fans under Ashton. Lovely segue. Right. Yeah. Mark Ashton, new CEO. I've got Alex and I've got Lee joining us very shortly. Got George Nunn bringing plenty of thoughts as well after that with a lovely hat. Beautiful hat, in fact. Stunning hat. Just say a quick hello, George. What a hat, mate. What a hat. Mike, Sid, kick us off. Mark Ashton, what are your thoughts? Happy, sad, indifferent?
Bristol City fans, some of the Bristol City fans don't like him, don't like the fact, don't rate him, do they? But, he's coming from a championship club to come down to League One, and that says everything, really. Like I said, we're talking about players we keep, players we won't keep, and yet you've got a guy coming from, like I said, Championship club down to League One. These American owners ain't stupid. No. They ain't running a massive £1 billion trust fund, pension fund in America.
30.
Likely, are they? They're not going to waste the £700 million cash they've got sat in some bank somewhere. No, the reality is, I just think that we've spent all last 2 seasons, absolutely, probably 3 seasons, moaning like hell about our owner, our CEOs, and stuff like that. Right now, we need to get behind the club. Absolutely, 100% get behind the club. We need to support the owners, support the CEOs, support the physios, and support Cook. And I know that people have got problems with Cook. There's been a few on Facebook regarding, he needs to go and all that. But look, we need to get behind the club now, right? We can season. It's a write-off. I think John. I love what John. I listened to John Walker earlier on Radio Suffolk, and he got us down as 4 to 6 points out of the next 6 out of the rest of the season. Yeah, that said everything. An absolute legend. One of our best players. See the problems. See the players ain't good enough. He's calling out the senior players, saying they need to go. Their time is up. And with this new CEO, hopefully he'll come in and say, do you know what? Let's get behind Cook. Let's back him. Do what you need to do. Talk to me if you need any more players, or just go forward.
Mark Ashton, CEO for you, Sid. What does it mean to you?
think it shows ambition, really. If you're willing to step down from a championship club that's been up there for like the past few seasons, if you're willing to take that drop pretty much down a whole league, it shows that these owners have clearly got some plans for us, and also that may convince championship players to think if he can make the drop down, so can I.
Yeah, and I think Stephen Parry makes a great point. CEO of the year in 2019, and Carl Brooks. Carl Brooks is here. I like the fact there seems to be some kind of planning and structure, Sid, beginning to unfold. I'm all for Ashton. He's not going to be any worse than what we've had. And isn't that true, really, Sid? That we've been saying for a while as fans, get football men that understand the footballing decisions. Yeah, and this is a guy that, as Stephen said there, CEO in 2019. Now, you don't win that if you're a smuts, do you?
No chance. It's like that stat Stephen said earlier on about the it was the 59% one, and theirs was something like 600%. So was it turnover or something like that? But
what he's done for Bristol City has been really good, right?
They was, no disrespect to them, they weren't anything special when we was in the Championship challenging at that level, and their fortunes have changed. They're up there challenging. So
arguably,
even if he can get us to that point, and then we get someone else.
Exactly what I've been saying on Twitter. If you can get us to a top 10, yeah, exactly. And as somebody said up here, played Yahtzee, got 3 of a kind. Where is that? Dan Smith. Ipswich have played Yahtzee, got 3 of a kind with new chairman, owners, and now have a full house with Mark Ashton. Alex, full house with Mark Ashton. Come here primarily looking at it from his commercial background, his player trading background. If you look at transfermarket.co.uk, I don't know how reliable they are, but for most of the last 4 or 5 years, they've made a profit in the transfer market. That'll be key to the new owners.
Yeah.
Are you excited to see what he can do at the football club?
Yeah, definitely. I think, because I read something on Twitter yesterday that said the Bristol City fans were sort of unhappy that they were slipping down the league to like 14th because of things that they blamed on Ashton. But the thing is, like we've said, after the drop we've watched from the end of the Hurst era through to now, if he can get us up, get those players in, and get us to, that level and make us an established championship club again. Because as we said earlier on, these Americans are ruthless. If we get to that point where he can't take us any further, who's to say the Americans won't get another CEO in? And you've got to ask yourself, with the vision that we've got behind us, because, a lot of Bristol City fans are coming out and saying that he wasn't signing players that the manager wanted, and they were disgruntled about that. But, you've got to ask yourself, what is what vision are they selling at Bristol City compared to the vision that we can now offer with the American owners we've got behind us, the investment we've got behind us? Can we sell a better vision than Bristol City can, and where we're going? So for me, I don't think you can sort of slate the man until he's comes during the first and he's been given time to bed into the role and, see how he does. I think a lot of the... I think there's a lot of preempting going on based on what, Bristol City fans are saying. But, we're not Bristol City, we're Ipswich Town, and we could, the way that we do things could be totally different to the way that Bristol City do things.
Yeah. Go on, fix it.
I don't think you can sort of say because he's done this at this club, he's going to do that at that club. And like we said, he doesn't win CEO of the year 2019 and be rubbish. It doesn't happen. And, the fact that we're now getting, people like that wanting to come down to us and be on this journey, for me, it's only a positive thing. So let's get behind Ashton, O'Leary and Brett and, just see where let's roll the dice. Because at the end of the day, it can't be any worse than what we put up with for the last 13 years under Evans, you know?
And if you look at their league position history, Sid, it's 11th, 8th, 12th. I think they're currently 14th. Somebody said we'll see some part of the season left to play. That's where, and it doesn't sound sort of overly ambitious as Town fans to say that's where you want to be. But after drawing 0-0 with Rochdale only on Blank Holiday Monday, I'd love a 4-year span.
For that.
Just build something.
And on the player trading side of things, we've been caught out on that because they paid peanuts for Webster. Then sold him on for like however many million to think. If we can get a couple of
5 million for him,
if we can get him doing that sort of thing for us, it's going to be nice to be on the other end of it rather than getting in, Ollie Hawkins, God bless him, who what's his resale value? 50p in a bag of what? Do you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll take
Lee,
him on.
I'll bring Lee in as well. Come on the Mark Ashton. How are you feeling following the new owners, Mark Ashton, O'Leary, the whole shaboodle? We're suddenly falling into place, right? We've suddenly got a plan, got a structure. We've got it's a bit of vigor about us off the field at the very least, right?
Absolutely. And we've sat here and I've listened to all the pods over time and participated. We've said, haven't we? We've blamed Lambert. We've got, he's gone. But we've always said it's at the top. It's the investment. It's Marcus Evans. It's the CEO that we've had in place, that he's put in place. They've all now gone. So we've got new owners. I mean, O'Leary knows what he's doing, doesn't he? And he's gone to Ashton and said, look, these guys are the real deal. There's proper investment here. And that's the key for me, is that for Ashton to go from a championship club, I mean, he might have thought that he served his time there, perhaps, but he's gone from a championship club to a League One club. He's going to know what the potential backing is here. So he's not coming on. He wouldn't come here. He wouldn't come here under Evans, would he? Let's face it, he wouldn't. So he knows what's going to go on, and he's got the opportunity to do that. And as regards to what the Bristol City fans like, and what they're saying, we all bloody moan about our own club at some point, don't we? We all do, unless we're winning everything. So I think he's the sort of guy that can do the best with what he's got. Because where Bristol City were, and perhaps what their investment is, are they punching above their weight, or at least on level terms? So I just think it's a great appointment. And they've tapped him up, and he knows what's coming. He knows what's available, and I'm pleased because it's better than any of the shite we've had. And if Bristol City fans aren't happy about it, they can have any of our last three, can't they? And see what they've got. It's that simple, but it's all coming into place. What did someone say? There was a comment about the 3-2-1 or something or whatever. That is right. We're building from the top. It's going to work down. The key will be the summer. Who do we get in? Does Cook get everybody that he wants?
Can I just interject there? I've just got some sort of breaking, if you like. It's exclusive to EADT that Alan Judge is believed to have a contract clause where should he play one more game, it triggers an extra year, and that is not being considered for selection at this stage. So we will not be seeing Alan Judge, you would think, between now and the end of the season, because he has been told, from what I quickly gathered, that he is not in the plans next year, and as such will not be giving a new contract or play to initiate that contract. What are your?
Might as well pay him up now then.
What are your thoughts as you hear that news? Disappointed? Is that expecting it?
I thought Judge has had some few good games, but look, he's not the same player he was at Brentford.
No,
he's just not the same player. We talk. Lee makes a great point. We're building from the top. I think what we're doing now, we're building a complete new program here at Ipswich. I think we're built. The owners coming in are the strong foundations. We've now got some walls with Lee O'Neill, and we've got some structure with Mark Ashton, and then I think obviously with I think there's going to be more. We've got a goalkeeper coach left. I think there's going to be more coaching staff coming in, different coaching staff. There'll be more behind the scenes staff going.
Will be, yeah.
New ones coming in, which is what we need. We need a complete rebuild from, and we're getting that. We've got new owners. We've been crying out for that for years. We've had Marcus Evans, who's quite really planted a tent in the middle of a field saying, look, that's a football ground, and now we've got an owner and a CEO, and like I said, we've got these people in place, and now we've got Cook in place. He needs his assistant from Wigan. I ain't gonna lie. I think
the thing is, right? The thing is, just to stick with Alan Judge for a second, because it's breaking and it's so I want to grab everyone's thoughts as they're sort of digesting it. We've not seen the best of him this year because of some off-the-field situation, personal issues or personal circumstances.
Yeah, not easy the past couple of years, is he?
No. Do you feel?
He's
a great pro, though, isn't he? He's a good.
Yeah,
pro.
Go on, Lee.
Yeah, he's a good pro, and out of all the people that have played this season, we knocked him when he first arrived, and especially last season, he was, you know, he admitted himself he couldn't even take a corner, could he? I mean, I could have took a corner better than him, honestly, just about. But this season, he's probably been one of the best.
You couldn't get to the corner.
Yeah. He's I'd need an auction master to get back to the halfway line. But he's been consistent this season. When you watch him, he's grafted all season. But for me, this is the intent, and this is the first sign of there's going to be a revolution in the summer to me, because he would be one of the better performers, and he's on his bike. So that tells me that there's big change coming. That's the first sign of it to me, because we don't really know what investment there is. So we don't really know how many players we're going to get in. But this, to me, is the start, is the beginning of the start of the end of the Marcus Evans era.
Yeah,
definitely.
Would you though, Lee? Would you? This is, I think this has been brought up before, and I think I probably called for it a little bit. You know, like I said, Judge has he's not performed badly. He's not an outstanding player, but he's been consistently average this season. I'd say he's been, you know, it's one or two really good games and then one or two really poor games. If he was to stay on a contract extension, say, with being a season sort of older head, being a pro and stuff, could he not be made captain and Brown's vice captain? Could that not work? I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, I think he's been quite vocal, hasn't he? I think it's been on Twitter that him and Chambers have been the only two that talks a lot, and I've heard that. And then when I went to the Burton game, you know, because it was hardly any crowd, and you could hear. And Chambers, to be fair, was talking a lot. But just back to the point on Judge, he's not going to fit into the team because Cook wants the front four to have pace and power. He hasn't got pace and power. He's a crafty player, isn't he? So he could play in that hole, but I don't think that's what he wants. We're going to have hard and fast, pacey people up front, and that's, you know, you can see the way Cook's going to go with that. So it'll be interesting how much money we spend, but it's going to be great, to be fair, Mike, because those front four of that pace and power that we're going to have Dizelle picking out passes for them.
Oh, for fuck's
Dizzelle's going to be dropping them in. Honestly.
Lee, I really do love you. Thanks ever so much, mate. Not having that on my note. Lee, as always, appreciate you, buddy.
Always, guys.
As always, look after yourself. Look, it's true.
Lee's a legend.
Alex, before we let you go, Alan Judge not being given that deal, what do you expect? What do you think?
I think he's been, you know, he's been one of the better players this year, but that's saying, you know, that's not saying much. I think, you know, he has had, from what you've read and what he's let out, you know, he's had problems off the field that no person should have to go through, quite frankly. You know, so I'd say to him, thank you very much for, you know, putting the effort in that he has whilst going through that. But maybe I'm with sort of let him go now, you know, rather than keep him around till the end of the year. Because you've then got to ask yourself, you know, what is he going to be like, knowing that he's not going to play? You can say you're the most professional player, you know, ever. But if you know you've got 5 or 6 weeks where you're not going to play, what sort of, you know, mindset are you going to be in? And is that going to filter through? So for me, I would probably say, if I'm not in your plans, let me go, you know, let me have some time with my family and let me, you know, go and find another club next year rather than keeping them around until June and letting them go at the end of the year.
Absolutely. Alex, appreciate you as always. Thanks ever so much.
Take care, guys.
Love the merch. Keep rocking it. Keep rocking it. I think it's an interesting one. It can be seen as a classy move by the club. You know, you're giving a senior player, a veteran player, a head start. You're saying, look,
giving him time to.
Yeah, we're not going to be keeping you
something
around next year. So you and your agent, you got a head start on everybody else. You can be speaking. You can be behind the deal because everyone knows everyone speaks to each other. You're not drawing it out. You're not selecting, etc. So it can be seen as a real class, and that sort of vibrates across the football landscape because other players at other clubs see the way you treat other players at your own club, and they go, well, you know, that's respectful. That's dignified. That's a decent response. That's a club I want to play for. George, welcome in. Right. Love the hat.
Thanks.
Alan Judge, what are your breaking news thoughts there?
Yeah, I think that's. I'm not surprised. I think it's probably the right thing to do. I've got a lot of time for Alan Judge. It hasn't quite worked out for him, has it? In terms of what the expectations that we might have had for him when he came. I know he's coming back from a major injury, but it's not quite worked out for him. I think I agree that he's been one of the few, especially given the crappy year he's had. He's been one of the few that's put in a proper shift this season, particularly since Christmas. Probably, but I think it's. For the reasons that you guys have said, it's probably the right time for him to go. He's probably not going to fit into Cook's plans next year. I think 2 years ago he might have been captain material. Not that he's not captain material, but I just don't think we get enough out of him in terms of playing time for him to be a good captain for moving forward. It'd be interesting to see whether this means some of the other more seasoned pros are more likely to go. But I think it's probably the right time for him to go.
Yeah,
interesting. I do think it's a shame that we have these contracts where it means that if he plays another game, because I would have liked to have. I know there's no crowd, but it would have been nice for him to be able to play out and not sit out, because if he plays again, that we have to give him a contract. That feels a bit crap, but that's not his problem.
George, am I taking 2 and 2 and I'm making 5 here? Alan Judge, he'll find out soon who he can and can't trust. Paul Cook saying there's some players in this team I don't trust, or I don't trust this team. And now this news. Am I making 5 there, do you think? Yeah,
I think so. I think he means something else when he says the players that he can't trust. It's the players it's the ones that aren't putting the shift in. We've talked about this on here and on WhatsApp to death and on Twitter and everything else. The ones he can't trust are the ones that he's throwing out and they're not putting in 90 minutes of effort every week or twice a week. It's bonkers.
Yeah. Being a prat on social media as well.
Well, yeah. Well, there you go. We'll leave him for once on the sidelines. Mark Ashton, then George. What are your thoughts on that? Because I'm looking through his transfer history, and there's a good blend there. There's 1 or 2 seniors. There's younger players. There's some foreign talent. It's a really sort of vibrant, exciting transfer market or policy that he puts together every single year. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, definitely. I think you'd be forgiven for having some concerns, because I've got some concerns. What
are they?
Well, the tone of the EADT thing earlier, I wasn't a huge fan of the divisive. I don't think it needed to have the word divisive in the title, but there was something a little sensationalist about that. But the things that people come out and say they can only find one person I can't remember where it was, but at one of his other clubs that had anything good to say about him. Those things, but you've got to be a bit of a hard ass and a bit of a dick when you're a CEO, I think, to be honest with you, to make some of these deals. He's obviously got talent. You don't become Championship CEO without that talent. And let's face it, if we're saying that we're excited about and we trust Mike O'Leary and we trust Brett Johnson and Burke Overkay and all of the rest of them, then we have to trust this decision, right?
Yeah, I see it. Mark Ashton, the divisive figure with a track record for promotion and profits. Well, George said, yeah. If promotion and profits means you're divisive, Sid, where do I sign up, please?
You're not in work to make friends. You're there to make money and make profit.
Yeah, I just promotions. Fuck me, that sounds exciting. What are they? Didn't know they existed in the football pyramid, George?
He needs the right people underneath him. It's the structure of the whole business. I mean, I don't know the guy, and we didn't see enough of him. But it would surprise me if Marcus Evans isn't divisive. So yeah, I think it all comes down to the structure that's being built underneath them all, from him all the way down to Jimmy Walker, who I'm sure you're about to bring up.
Yeah, let's go there. Well, you brought him up, so let's go there. Jimmy Walker left the football club today. Were you shocked, surprised, dismayed?
None of those things.
No.
Not dismayed. I mean, I don't know enough about goalkeeping or about him as a specific goalkeeper coach, as you know from our conversation earlier. But I think. But I think I wasn't surprised at all. I think Cook's right in trying to get his own people in. Be surprised if he doesn't make a move for Colgan. I don't know what sort of contract he signed at Nottingham Forest, but I'm all for Cook bringing all of his own staff in. And whether I think half right, I think Mike, you said about him needing Liam Richardson. I think he needs a number 2. Whether he desperately needs Richardson, I don't know, but he needs a number 2. I think any manager does.
Yeah. My issue with Liam Richardson, Mike, and I know you brought him up before, is the fact that every time I speak to Wigan fans, they say that don't bet that he's gonna be leaving. There's rumours here, whispers there, etc. I don't want to hang my hat on Liam Richardson because I've been there with Paul Lambert and Ian Culverhouse. I don't want to be back there again. I don't want to let myself think if I don't get Liam Richardson, this is a disaster.
That's my concern. I'm going to be honest. That's my only concern with Cook is if he doesn't get his number 2, is he going to be the same manager he was at Wigan? Oh, it's a tough one. You know, look, the goalkeeping coach. Look, the Americans. One thing about America is they're very sort of, especially sort of the middle and upper class, are very fitness orientated. And I think that where there's money, there's fitness. And I think they're going to bring in some of their own people from America, come over here to work with physios and sort of a good medical team, backroom staff. I think there'll be a lot of sort of mixture with our own and maybe some really sort of expert people from across the pond, as we say. And I think that'd be a good thing. We do need new coaches. We do need a new setup at the club. But I think, like I said, we're talking about this now, and I think maybe in another 3 months we will see all this happening.
And we will, yeah.
You know, and that can only be a good thing. But going back to Cook's number 2, that worries me. I'm not going to lie, because we all know Lambert wasn't the same without Culverhouse, and is Cook going to be the same without Richardson? But
that was
Robert's brought in for them.
We knew he wasn't going to have Culverhouse. He hadn't had Culverhouse for a while.
Yeah.
That's why I wouldn't have appointed Lambert in the first place, because his record after that was poor.
Well, he's gone. And if people took a stroke when we said Lambert on this show, they'd be dead. Because we talk about that man an awful lot. And for once, it wasn't me even brought him up. Well, actually, no, I think I did. No, I did.
Yes. Take the blame. Take the blame.
I did. So it's not on me. Sid, I guess with Jimmy Walker, it comes down to, have you seen any improvements in any of the goalkeepers? That's Thomas Holy to Di Cornell to Adam Perciabet to Harry Wright, both of which have been released, by the way. Have you seen any improvement in any of our goalkeepers in the time Jimmy's been here?
No, not one bit.
So right decision to let him go?
They've gone backwards. Yeah, gotcha.
Is it not a talent issue, though? Like, and I was saying this to George. George, I was saying this to you earlier. Talent issue, really, at our football club, because you need a little bit of ability to even coach. You need, like, to mould a clay cup, you need some clay. Holy is what Holy is, mid-table, as Mike will tell you in a second. 70-odd goals for Gillingham, blah, blah, blah. He loves that stat. How many goals, Mike?
70.
73
goals. I think it was 73 goals he conceded before he came to Ipswich. And that said everything we need to know. Me and my son were talking about it. There, my stat. I love my stat.
You do. Di Cornell, League 2 goalkeeper. Spoke to the Northampton fan in the summer. I said, how is he? Shit. Was
I'd rather have Gherkin on the bench than Cornell.
I'd rather have a Gherkin on the bench. You know what I mean? Neither play the game, do they? Let's be honest.
Cardboard cutouts are better than Holy.
Yeah.
The goals, he makes no effort to save them shots that are on him. He's awful.
I never question effort. But George, you need a little bit of talent, right? And he's not had that. The cupboard's been bare in that department for since the whole last 2-3 years.
Yeah, it's felt like we've really struggled in the goalkeeping department for quality. Bart was obviously the last decent keeper that we had, but who else what was that? but
praise the Lord.
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't lose any sleep over Holy and Cornell both being, ushered out quietly this summer and just starting again. And I think that's one of the problems with this. When you look through the squad with who's out of contract, some of the ones that we need to get rid of are the ones that aren't.
Yeah, but then you can pay off goalkeepers, or you can at least say find clubs or tell one of them to
loan them to America,
send them down to Colchester. Do the rest of them.
Who's this? This Charlton, the best manager ever, come back to Suffolk now?
Well, it's all about opinions. All about
He's
opinions.
on the bed sheet, boys, wouldn't you?
I tell you what, though, on the goalkeepers, it does show the lack of direction under the Evans era. When you're bringing Di Cornell in, who clearly isn't better than Holy, because he's not getting ahead of him on I think it's a 2-year deal at the time. So another year left. Got Holy another year. Like at this point of the summer, or under Evans and Lambert or whoever it would have been, you surely would have been looking and thinking you need a better goalkeeper. But you've already sort of made, lined your ducks up as it were, and made your bed then in that respect. And it would have been not good enough again next year. I was saying before we went live, George, in a way, this takeover is more than we can possibly put into words how much of a blessing it is. Because can you imagine if we had the budget that Evans perhaps would have brought in the summer to try and fix these problems? The club would have been in a bit of trouble.
It would have been exactly the same as we've seen every window for the last 14 years. I don't buy into this. We're suddenly going to start using data nonsense. That was just what they were reading out to keep us quiet for a few days while everything was sealed up, I suspect. As people have said, why we should have been doing that for decades probably now. We're so far behind. But our recruitment has been so bad. For as long as I can remember, really. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Alan Judge.
Certainly all the way through the Evans era, just really, really bad. I think it's more than we could. It's probably more than we can comprehend at the moment how much change this takeover is going to bring over the next 2 or 3 years. This summer absolutely 100%. This summer will be fascinating, and it will be another one of those every morning refreshing. I don't remember the last transfer window I had where I was constantly refreshing TWTD or something to find out if we'd signed someone or who the next rumor was or whatever else it was. And I think this is going to be one of those summers that everybody's doing that again for the first time in a long time, just because
it really will be.
We're going to have so many gaps to fill and so many comings and goings for all sorts of reasons, I suspect, and at all levels of the club, and that's only good. And I'm not pretending that we're going to come back in August and suddenly tear up the league. But if we can put 90 minutes of effort in every week, then I'll be a lot happier than I am right now.
Absolutely. Ben Durham, Gav, are we having a Talking Town end of season award show? We certainly are. Best contributor, finest moment. Vote. Yeah, we absolutely are.
I know who's going to win that.
Yeah, it's in the pipeline. Yeah, not you. Karate Ant. Let's give credit. McCarthy found some good left backs, and Jewel had Cresswell. We are a left back specialist, but even that's gone now. Luke, backroom staff, Nina Richardson, physio, keeping coach, and one senior coach alongside Roberts. I really want to keep hold of Matt Gill. I'll say it. I've said it every single week. I love Gilly. I think he's going to be a really top coach, really top guy in the game. And I think in 10 years, no matter where Ipswich Town Football Club ends up, we may look back and think he was with us. We could have kept hold of him. Could have had something special there. I do honestly think that with Matt Gill. And I've thought it for a while. Neil Perks downs in the Holland mould, but needs to add goals. Right, Charlton Saturday earlier kickoff 12:30. George, you can stay here for this. Match day ticket will be a shortened. Well, I'm not quite decided if it'd be a shortened show or a later show due to the funeral, but I'll work that out as we go. What are we thinking for Charlton then? A win, a defeat, a draw, a win and we're back in the playoff race? Are we bang out of the playoff race? George, do you start us off? What are your pre-Charlton thoughts?
I thought we were going to win the other day. So I'm going to go 1-1.
1-1, yeah. So that would firmly put us out, I think. That would
firmly out. That's not.
We're not going to make it. Come on.
Yeah.
It'd be an Ipswich miracle. It would be a miracle if somehow. But this league's so bad. You win 3 games, which is quite achievable. You don't know where you're going to be. Like, I've not known a league this bad ever.
No, but the problem is that we're a team. We haven't got 90 minutes in us.
True.
We've got 9 minutes in us.
For whatever reason, and I'm sure you covered that. And but yeah, I don't think we've got it in us to do enough over the next 6 games.
Lee Anderson saying, "Payment say season's done." Power Grin, hopefully I win the name Miss Brown. Yes, you will. You will. I can promise you that already. Just fuck knows what that is, to be honest with you. Power. Power.
Power gen earlier.
I know, Mike, because you got to say you're reading it while you're trying to process it to make sure you're not getting, what is it they call it, where baited or whatever. Where it's a really bad or dodgy. Anyway, Mike D. Who's gonna play? He doesn't trust any of them. Yeah, who's gonna play, Sid? Any major changes from Wimbledon for you? Is Holy retaining his place in goal?
Well, I don't want to see either of them in goal, to be honest.
You got to play a goalie, Sid. You've released the other two.
Well, I can't see Cornell getting in.
Is it the same 11? It won't. Wait, is it the same 11 for you?
Pretty much, yeah. Can't see there being many changes. What else has he got to play?
Mike, same 11 for you?
Well, it won't be the same 11. Harrop won't be starting. That's for a start.
Well, of course he won't be. You're right. You are correct. I did pause when I said same 11. I thought Judge was my first inkling, but no, you're right, Harrop. Yeah.
I forgot about that red card, actually.
Oh my God, it's a pin of tail on the donkey, isn't it? Let's be honest. One, we're not going to win. We're not going to beat Charlton. Not in a million years. I'm quite willing to put some good money down on that. Just no way. The team isn't good enough to beat teams like Charlton in this league. Oh my days! I just don't know what to say because I'm in this mindset that I'm not really. I'm going to watch a game, but I'm not enthusiastic about it because I'm more enthusiastic about what's going to happen in the summer than I am about any of the games leading up to the end of the season. Because our season's done. You know what I mean? There's no people going on about we're going to make the playoffs. Yeah, right. I'm going to go Milwaukee. We're going to get 6 points most. Walk said on radio stuff. I go 6 points most.
Yeah, but this league is so bad that 6 points might just keep you in distance. Like this league is awful, Mike.
We're 5 points behind the playoffs now.
Yeah, but doesn't.
There's no way someone's got 5-0 Ipswich. Michael Finch. That's hilarious.
But can I just say something to you, right? If you don't look at the top two, Highland Peterborough, every team in this division has the same type of form. Sunderland 1-1, drawn, lost. Lincoln lost, drawn, won. Blackpool drawn, 1-1, drawn. Like nobody in this league is any fucking good. Nobody. If you are,
it says a lot about us, then, doesn't it? We're sitting there,
we're fucking shit.
But my point is, those 6 points. That might put you in a position you don't even think is possible because the league is so bad. Like literally, I don't think I've ever seen a top six with that type of form, George, where only one team inside the top six has won last week.
Yep.
Huh?
But I did. Our playoff season in the championship. That was a mad league that season.
Not this bad. This is bonkers.
I don't know. It weren't far off. I mean, we scraped through only because Derby lost. And Derby were like flying high at one point.
Didn't we lose on the last day? We're not going
to let's just keep it real. We're not going to make the playoffs. We're going to finish this season. We're going to get rid of all the rubbish. Hopefully, we're going to have a really good summer. Getting all excited, hands rubbing together. We're going to be like George says. We're going to be refreshing the News Now, whatever, and see what's coming up on that. News Now Ipswich, and see what's going on here. Talking Town's going to be breaking news on new transfers and new people coming in. It's just going to be brilliant. This season's done and dusted. Let's watch the games. Let's have a moan about one or two. Let's have hopefully a win here and there. But let's just think about next season, this summer, and get this season over and done with. And we can now hopefully we can look forward to a far better future for this club.
All right. Score predictions then as we close the show. George?
1-0.
1-0. Mike?
3-0 Charlton.
3. Fucking hell. Well, you're happy. You are a happy man.
I'm just being honest, being realistic.
I'd go a score draw, 1-1. For me, these last few games feel like that point where you're mathematically safe, but you mathematically can't make the playoffs. They just feel like nothing games to me.
Yeah,
I can't see us doing anything really.
I just want to see building blocks. I've said that for the last couple of weeks. I want to see improved performances from Andre Dezelle. I want to see Flynn Downs now putting a little bit of a run together, keeping himself fit, ticking over, getting better. Same for Luke Wolfenden. Whatever position he plays in, I want to see a little bit of upturned form. Players that we perhaps want to build around, look to, just something you can hang your hat on. Because if you go into next season without if you go into next season so flat on the field, doesn't matter how much excitement off the field there is. If you start it, if you end it flat, you've got to sort of really galvanise all of it. It's hard to do at any level, particularly in the third tier where it is so competitive. You know, you need to be a competitive machine straight away because, well, it's just a shite league and you can get eaten up fairly quickly. Lee Anderson, normally players are now on the bench, ours are on the toll queue. Julian too, players not buying into it. They know the fans are pissed off with them. Lee Bayliss, go on, Fisherman, love it. Luke, agree with the Fisherman. Let's just ride the shower of shout out for the next 5 odd games and look forward to something next year. Adam Flatt, Cook, not in the dugout in August. I've said it.
Ooh.
Big, bold claim to end the show. We are back on Saturday. Match day ticket live. Myself, Coxie, and I believe King Caddy Bislar will be joining me for a 12:30 kickoff. Mike, Sid, very much appreciated. George, thanks for dropping by and bringing that wonderful hat into our lives. I do like it. Where can you get one of those?
Don't know, wherever you can buy Texas Rangers merch.
Texas Rangers. There you go. I didn't know which team it was. I was trying to figure it out. So Texas Rangers, perfect. How long I didn't know you supported Texas Rangers.
Mrs. is from Texas, isn't she?
Of course, yes. Anyway, sorry, we're digressing. With love, with care. See you all Saturday at 12:30.